Welcome to Dive In, where I take a look at other games and the lore of different universes. With Grim Darktober coming, I feel it's time to do a lore video about my favorite universe, Warhammer 40k. Or in particular, this October's theme, the Officio Assassinorum. In the 31st millennia, the godlike being known as the Emperor of Mankind began moving across the galaxy, with the goal of creating a unified, human-centered empire. It was when he was about to take to the stars with his massive army of super soldiers, he was approached by 6 different small organizations of assassins. None of these groups liked each other, but they all agreed on the same thing. The Emperor was mankind's best hope. Now, don't be confused, but the Emperor was not a good guy by any measure. He knew what he had to do, and he did it. But using these killers as tools made him wince in displeasure and quickly turn them away. It was his right-hand man, Malcador the Sigillite, that understood these killers were too useful to leave alone. And thus, the Officio Assassinorum was built. Each group was given power, technology, and new recruits to build what was effectively 6 armies of trained killers. Each group, now called temples, hold a different philosophy on combat and execution of methods. So how about we talk about each one of these temples, starting with the 2 builds I've already done before moving on to the ones you'll see soon. The Vindicare are probably my favorite of the temples. They hold 3 principles of their trade above all else: stealth, patience, and precision. Utilizing high-tech and customizable sniper rifles, the Vindicare are expert marksmen who can wait months for their target to enter their sights. Mainly deployed as divine punishment killers, their preferred targets are those who dare blaspheme against the God Emperor, waiting for these heretics to bring their flock together and for the perfect moment to deliver the killing blow. Though they are also called upon when a mission requires a delicate and precise hand. To complete their mission, they are armed with a wide array of special ammunition that can be used for different effects, such as the shield breaker that can take down force fields. The Eversor is the exact opposite of the Vindicare. So much so, both temples see the other as pointless and dumb. While the Vindicare is a precise weapon, the Eversor is a grenade, both figuratively and literally. Nothing more than lobotomized berserkers with enough combat drugs pumping in their system to kill a normal person. The Eversors are utilized when things need to get done, and to send a message to the enemies of the God Emperor. While most temples specialize in using few weapons, the Eversor carry several weapons that include poison claws, energized swords, mass reactive bullets, poison needle rounds, high yield grenades, and oh yeah, their own hearts. Yeah, they explode when they die. But the worst part about these assassins is the truth of their lives. Unlike other assassins who understand what they're doing and spend a lot of their time working on their plans, Eversors are true berserkers, to the point where once their mission is done, they are captured and stored in cryopods till they are needed again. Their lives are a never-ending stream of violence that can only end when they fail their mission. The Cadus are by far the most normal of the temples, and what can be considered an assassin, in the twisted reality that is 40k. The women of the Cadus temples are true masters of infiltration and disguise. And when I say disguise, I'm not talking about dressing differently and wearing a mask, I mean shape-shifting. Yes, it's an entire organization of mystiques. Utilizing a drug called polymorphine, they are able to reshape their body and mimic voices to become anyone they wish. Caduses will spend months studying not only their targets, but those around them who could be potential masks for them to wear. Their targets tend to be those who bend the laws of the Imperium to their advantage, or more to the point, those that bend the laws and scuff in the face of the God Emperor, like a rogue sadistic demigod. They are also chosen for missions where finding the target is just as hard as ending them, sending the Cadus in to spend months working through entire networks till they find their true target. On missions, they wield some serious weapons, a sword that can phase out of reality and that can pass through any protection, poison daggers, and a gun that can send the target's nervous system into overdrive. Once these weapons are unleashed, it is already too late for their targets. The Venas are some of the more unusual assassins of the Officio Assassinorum. They are not melee experts or monsters, they're hackers. Many of the targets of the Venas don't even know they're being hunted, even when the killing blow comes from an unexpected place. They specialize in making their missions end in what would appear to be accidents or just dumb luck. These targets are usually those the Imperium needs to have removed quietly and doesn't need to make an example of them, though they are also called upon when the target may be a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus. While they prefer to never meet their targets, they are still assassins. It's not surprising when I say you don't actually want to fight these guys. Their bodies are enhanced using high-tech and concealable weapons that are chosen by the assassins themselves. These can include small but powerful laser weapons that can be hidden in eyes or fingers, small robots, and of course the data spikes, razor-sharp daggers that extend from their arms that can not only be used as blades, but also use them to infect machines with computer viruses. The Venetum are the most subtle of the temples. They don't unleash berserkers or make shows of their targets or wear other people's faces. So what do? They are poison experts. And in the universe of Warhammer 40k, there are so many special poisons out there for them to study. Need the target to completely vanish, and I mean their body gone? They have a poison that dissolves the body, leaving nothing but a stain on the floor. Want to give someone a heart attack? Yeah, they got that too. A completely untraceable kill. Need to kill a lot of people in a short time? Yeah, these are the guys you need to call. Much like the Vindicare, they are all about completing the mission with precision. But like the Vinesse, they are not about sending a message. It's probably why these guys in the Vinesse do not have models on the tabletop, except for Horus Heresy, as that was the greatest war of all time and needed every available fighter on the field. The Colexis are by far the scariest of the temples. Not because of their methods, but because of what they are. Okay, we gotta go into a little bit more lore here. In the 40k universe, all magic is derived from the warp, an unreality where emotions are physical. Everyone is connected to the warp, but only a few special people can use it to perform magic, or psychic abilities as we call them. But there's a small number of people that are actually called blanks. Blanks aren't connected to the warp. In fact, they nullify it. When a normal person stands next to a blank, they become uneasy. And when a psyker stands next to a blank, they lose the ability to perform magic. Now, here's the scary part. Like psykers, blanks are on a scale, with the lowest on the scales with limited nullifying abilities. The Colexis are not the lowest scale. In fact, they are the strongest type of blanks there are. Yes, they are living anti-magic weapons, but that's just the start. Remember how I said a normal person stands next to a blank, they feel uneasy? That's not what happens when they stand next to a Colexis. Unease is just what they feel when the Colexis is in earshot. The closer they get, the worse it becomes. Entire fortresses have been driven into riots just because one of these guys entered it. They're not scalpels, they're not grenades, they're living psychological warfare. When a chaos cult takes root, a psyker goes rogue, or a Tyranid hive mind needs deafening, the Colexis are unleashed to end the problem. They're also the only temple that isn't deployed lightly. The reason for this being is not just the fact that blanks are rare, but the fact that these assassins are incredibly dangerous. If they are deployed, it's because there is no other option. These are the 6 main temples. I say main because there are 3 more temples, or there were 3 more temples, or maybe it's more like there may be 3 more temples. It gets kind of confusing. 2 of these temples are known, at least they were known. The Adamas Temple are assassins that specialize in physical combat and was claimed to be the oldest temple, but there is little to no record of them before or after the Horus Heresy. It may be that they were assassins the Emperor used before the other 6 show up. I know earlier I said the Emperor didn't want to use assassins, and now I'm suggesting this, but it's not the first time he said or done something that contradicts what he is actually doing. Like I said, he's not a good guy by any measure, he just does what he needs to do. The Maioris Temple was put down almost as quickly as it started, as it only produced a single assassin. Or, if we're being more honest, they only produced a single abomination. A creature created to not be an assassin, but an entire family exterminator, able to track bloodlines across entire planets and kill them without remorse. The scariest part is, while the temple may have been destroyed, its one member might not have been alone. And finally, there's the Secretum Temple, which may not exist or may simply not wish to be known. We really have no clue about these guys. The Indominus we know about, but don't know what happened to them. The Maioris was real and was destroyed. These guys, we got nothing. Only rumors. Okay, so there you go, the 6 temples of Officio Assassinorum. Very soon, all 4 of the final 6 will be character builds for D&D, and eventually I will do the Adamas. Maioris and Secretum, we're going to skip because Maioris Assassin is basically just Alex Mercer from Prototype, and the Secretum is, well, a secret. If you guys want more quick or even longer lore videos from Warhammer 40k or even D&D, let's do it. 40k and D&D are some of my favorite lore, and I would love to share it. I'd like to give a special shout out to my Artificer tier. Thank you John Martin, Christopher R. Hunter, Java Squirrel, Matthew Dens, Burton, and Jonathan Haynes. You guys rock.